All right, hello and welcome everyone to today's LinkedIn Live session. Today we are so thrilled to be joined by the amazing team at Enverus who have successfully grown their customer education program after building it from the ground up. And so through their innovative, practical, and scalable assessment strategies, they not only gained visibility within their organization, but they also secured additional resources and headcount to continue their growth. And so that's definitely what we're going to be talking about today. I know that's what a lot of people want to hear about is how to grow your programs, how to get more visibility within your organizations, and how to get some more help on your team. So for those of you joining us today, whether you're just starting a customer ed program or looking to scale an existing one, I know you're definitely going to gain some actionable insights to help you spotlight your own value and drive your own results. So Jessica and Kristen, hello. And can you just take a moment just to introduce yourselves and just speak a bit about what your roles were in building these certification programs from the ground up?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having us. So my name is Jessica Pear, and I'm the director here at Enverus of our Learning and Development program. I was brought in early on when we decided this was something that we wanted to execute on, really for scalability around our certifications and our customer education.
And hi, everyone. My name is Kristen Mize, and I'm the team lead here at the Learning and Development team. And my background is actually in curriculum and instruction. I've worked both in the K-12 and nonprofit sector before joining Enverus in 2021. So I was originally brought onto this team to lead the configuration of our learning management system and got firsthand working with Bongo in those early days of launching our certification program.
All right, great. And then what were your key goals that you were looking to reach when you launched this program?
Yeah, that's a great question. So Enverus had the idea and the plans to really build out a program for quite some time. And we really kicked it off back in early 2021, beginning with a primary focus on a certification program. That very quickly expanded into providing a holistic customer education program that not only included the certifications, but also included things like training webinars and additional training resources. And from there, the primary goals that we had was all about scalability, scaling to our large customer base and really being able to provide that digital, self-paced, but also course style education and training. We wanted to make sure that the certification courses were able to be scaled, but also not losing the ability to directly assess that proficiency that a user might have within any of our platforms. And within the cert courses, we also wanted to have a way to record and visibly see what that person's actions were inside of the tool, but also verbally to make sure that proficiency and understanding were really achieved. So when we looked at all of those goals, we've really tied all of our KPIs and additional goals directly back into product usage, product adoption, and overall competency, along with some sales targets and further customer support as well.
That's great. And you touched on this just a minute ago, but I'd love you to expand on it. So, while traditional assessments measure knowledge retention, practical assessments, which it sounds like was your goal from the outset, really focus on real world application and impact. So can you share a little bit about how implementing more of these practical assessments revealed the success metrics that you were going after?
Yeah, I can kind of share a little bit on just the capstone of the certification itself. Or what we were aiming for is we wanted the students to complete a practical assignment that provided them with an option to select a real world use case and solve a problem. And the key component of that for us was we needed them to go physically into our product, to share screen, to annotate their work, and to provide commentary on their thought process. And in doing so, the users are kind of given this opportunity by using Bongo to show real-time proficiency and competency inside our Enverus products. And I'd like to say kind of all of this started before the AI revolution that we're in. And so really the proof of the appeal with Bongo for us was the competency, that streamlined workflow within the product itself. And we really could not have done it in those early days and scaled our virtual instructor-led courses and our on-demand courses without that capability.
That's great to hear. And so, Josh, this is your, I'm sure this is music to your ears hearing that. So what do you see as the key advantage of using more practical versus, traditional methods when it comes to customer ed specifically?
Yeah, I suppose I totally agree, and that's really our mantra, or kind of beating the bongo drum there of practical assessments really move beyond simple knowledge recall or retention, like multiple choice, and actually focus on real world applications. Those traditional assessments often only measure if someone can remember something or remember information. But I would say really practical assessments test whether learners can actually apply that knowledge in relevant scenarios, whether that's specifically for their job or across their business. And of course, that really leads to more meaningful outcomes. So like better product adoption or improved customer satisfaction, because again, we're assessing like the true competency, not just whether they can regurgitate what they just read.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, kind of reflecting on where you started and where the program is now, what would you say was the impacts that, were happening for both your learner, but also your business outcomes?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we can start on the business outcomes, and really some of the immediate benefits that we saw once Bongo was integrated was really a high percentage of assessment completions, positive learner feedback. Most importantly, though, was increased product usage following our certification programs. That was always one of our largest KPIs that we wanted to track. We wanted to make sure that if you went through a certification, you were going to use our services or solutions much more. And we did see that. To date, we've certified over 550 users who have shown an increase in overall product usage by about 131% in earlier this year, and then an average of about 97% if we looked back at 2023. We've also measured the overall competency in our product. So we look at how folks are able to overall navigate the product itself, and then how are they able to do an analysis following certification training as well. And what we've seen is that all of these metrics, they see an increase in about 75 to 79% in both an analysis as well as navigation following an attendance in a certification program. So exceptionally positive metrics that we've seen so far since launching.
Yeah, and I can speak a little bit too about from the learner experience. We do collect testimonials and post-survey feedback. And to date, I would say the experience of the certification from the assessment perspective is the learner never has to leave the platform. So we use a third-party LMS, Thought Industries, and Bongo is fully integrated, and there's no friction. So that learner is able to complete start to finish the assessment, the course itself, and they're able to get that real-time feedback as soon as they submit their Bongo assignment from our facilitators and graders. So essentially everything is contained in one place, and it creates a really seamless experience for the learner and doesn't provide any friction points in that part of the process for them.
Yeah, those numbers are staggering. And, I know that everyone listening is just hoping to get even a fraction of that, especially with the product usage. I know that that's such a big one. And so how did you highlight this impact to the leaders in your organization?
Great question. So from our perspective, we are very focused in overall adoption. We're focused on retention efforts and just overall customer success for all of the products and services here at Enverus. So what we really focus on and want to continue seeing, which we've seen quarter over quarter, this has continued. We really wanted to highlight specific KPIs around adoption of the product specifically. So making sure that a user is not just in the product for the duration of the course, but also are they consistently sustaining that usage following the courses as well. well. So those were really big ticket items that are very important to us because it ties directly back into retention efforts and just customer success overall, because we want to make sure that those users are getting the absolute most value that they can, and it's really affecting their day-to-day work and making it better and more efficient for them. So really all of our KPIs, all of our metrics and data points that we want to leverage always ties back into effectiveness and efficiency gains of our products.
Yeah, that's fantastic, and I think that's always the goal, is to make sure that the training is not one and done, right? You're able to effectively continue to use it and continue to improve. And so, just curious around gathering that data. Is that like another tool that you used, or how are you able to collect all of that information?
Yeah, great question. So we do have analysts that also support, but we leverage all of our data specifically from our LMS. We also have usage data of our products. So we've built basically a big dashboard that allows us to see at the user level as well as at the just overarching level, what does that look like inside of our learning and development site as well as inside of our products.
That's great. And so would you say, were there any unexpected benefits? Because it looks like you wanted to increase the product usage, you achieved that goal, which is fantastic. But were there any unexpected things that resulted from these programs?
Yeah, I can kind of speak to one of the unexpected benefits that happened internally within the organization. So as Jessica mentioned, the certification program was designed for customers. But we rapidly saw an increase in internal employees picking up on the certification program and wanting to be a part of it. And so our HR team has now included the certification program with the integration with Bongo to be able to provide those feedback and assessments for now our sales and our support teams. And so it's been really great to see that connection between the customer education with that internal HR training and development piece kind of coming together, and having our LMS and Bongo being able to be that medium that we're allowed to be able to provide that feedback, not only to customers, but internal staff too, as they're trying to learn the products and the systems themselves.
That's fantastic. I love it when the teams aren't working in silos and everyone works together. Mm-hmm. Ultimately, everyone is the same goal, right? Mm-hmm. And so kind of alluded to it earlier in the session about the growth and the success, but what has this success meant for the two of you in terms of your team and the programs that you're going to be working on in the future?
Yeah, this has been an extremely fun time, I will say, for myself and my team. When we realized that we wanted to build this entire endeavor and we successfully launched the L&D and customer education program back in 2023, we started in such a small area inside of Enverus, and over the past year and a half, we've seen the success and the ability for us to continue to expand. So now we are expanding into other business units here at Enverus, as well as expanding into other products that we are also creating educational resources for. We're also looking to expand our certification programs to be more segment focused and more persona focused as well, to really be able to provide that level of credential for what someone does day to day. So right now we are exceptionally busy rebuilding our program, making it stronger, expanding into other areas as well, and really hitting in on the scalability. So making sure that we are providing the best holistic way for our users to be supported and to generate that value.
That's great. And, Kristen, you mentioned earlier on that you started using Bongo before we had our AI capabilities. Mm-hmm. So just curious, if the AI is going to help you to scale these programs going forward.
Yeah, it kind of has to at this point. We, like Jessica said, we're focusing on the scalability piece, and the original idea was that we would be able to provide that real-time learner feedback in an individualized manner, but the program has taken off. And so we know that we really need to be able to work with the models and be able to kind of use that AI built-in system within Bongo to provide that real-time feedback to the learners. But we know that means we have to change our approach to how we configure these assessments. We used to have a lot of freedom of choice of essentially what they would be able to choose within the use cases. And we're going to work really closely with Bongo to be able to kind of train the bot in order to be able to provide that real-time feedback.
That's great. We're excited about that. And so Josh, as we wrap up, what would you say is the most important takeaway for organizations that are looking to integrate more practical assessments versus the more traditional assessments?
Yeah, I would say, I guess a few things. First of all, just, the pragmatic approach that you guys have taken is, I think, an awesome example and kind of testament to how things can scale and how it could be. So I just want to, kind of acknowledge that and say that's an awesome thing, what you guys have been outlining last several minutes. But, to answer your question there, Emily, I'd say the most important takeaway is that, really practical assessments allow organizations to measure what truly matters, the actual application of knowledge. And by incorporating practical assessments, you can, actually track how well your customers understand and, like you guys were mentioning, how they're actually able to articulate and actually use your product. And really that data is what can drive decisions about where to focus training efforts. And ultimately that leads to better customer outcomes, whether that's improving user engagement or reducing churn or increasing product adoption. So I suppose I would just encourage organizations to think about not just how their customers, how much they know, but also what it is that they know and how they're using that knowledge to actually achieve success at their own organization.
Yeah, and I think you kind of just got to the heart of it there, Josh. It's about what they can do and what their capabilities are and making sure that they improve those capabilities. So that's all of my questions for today. So I just want to thank all of you for joining us, and for everyone who's on this LinkedIn Live. I hope you're leaving with a clear understanding of how practical and scalable assessments not only drive improved success metrics like customer engagement and product adoption, but also create opportunities for program growth and increased organizational impact. So let's all keep working together to explore innovative ways to showcase your value and scale your success and grow your programs. So thanks so much, everybody.
Awesome. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Emily. Thanks, Josh.